Hello, Leo. Welcome to Dove and Serpent Tarot. My name is Paul. If Leo is your sun, moon, or rising sign, this is your tarot card reading. Please hit the like button, leave a comment, consider subscribing to the channel, especially if this reading resonates with you. It is totally free. It does not cost you anything. If there's something you would like me to pray over or meditate upon or send positive energy toward, please let me know. Now, this is going to be a general reading, so try to be open and receptive to whatever may come through during our time together. I am merely the messenger. And I ask you to connect directly with each of these cards and use your own intuition to take you beyond the details that I might provide. And remember, Leo, that the most important part of any tarot reading is you. We start with an Eight of Swords. Now, don't get scared. It's an Eight of Swords. Yes, it is overthinking. We've been overanalyzing something, right? We've been using our intellectual energy around and around and around in a circle until we got so tied up in a knot that we don't know what to do. We don't know which way is up. But that's okay, because once we recognize this, we can kind of stop doing it. We can take a step back, right? So let's take a look. Let's take a few more cards. So this is something that I think is, I think that this is regarding our progress. It could be financial, material progress, could be health, could be wealth, right? Could be a career, could be a job, could be your wellness, your workout routine, or something like that, right? We're looking at how to move forward. This is a Nine of Pentacles. It's an odd number. It's a function, right? It's a striving. It's a drive to see change, to see the results of our action. This is us being able to witness the results of our drive, the results of our action, of our striving, right? And we've got a Queen of Pentacles, a Five of Pentacles. There's the sun. There is the enlightenment that we need. That's what we're really looking for. And Leo, that is one of your power cards. We're going to ring the bell, because that is the Prince of Wands. That is your superpower. And to me, what this represents is that, yes, you're finding the answers. You're hearing the message. You're finding what you need to find in this, and you're moving forward. Now, you're kind of back at it, right? And this is really, really good. Let's keep going here. Five of Wands. Nice. Nice. We have movement, right? The Eight of Swords is not moving. It's an even numbered card. It is a structure. It's a structure we don't want, right? We've built up this web of thoughts around us and we just can't get out of it. Well, movement here, movement here, movement here, movement here. We're getting out of it. This is really, really beautiful. We got the Two. Now, this is kind of us. How are we getting out of it? Which way are we going when we get out of there, right? So this is kind of like we get out of this tangle of the Eight of Swords. Don't get right back into it, right? Don't go backwards. Make sure we're going in the right direction here. We've got an Eight. Interesting now, an Eight of Wands. But we also have that Emperor energy. So your guides are trying to send you a message here, I think. Because I feel like you have, look, we've got the Two, we've got the Eight, we've got the Eight, we've got these structures going on here. I think that you're in a position, like that Emperor, where you can pretty much do anything you want. This is your business, this is your company, this is your department, this is your project, this is your endeavor, this is your life, right? We're going to start with the Two of Wands today. This is the authority that you have over your environment, over yourself, your autonomy, and the world that you live in. You've got choices. You've got every moment of every day, you're deciding something, right? You're directing something or someone, even if it's your own energy. I feel like you've got a lot that's kind of within your domain. You've got a lot of influence over life right now. And especially with these other cards, especially the Eight of Wands, you've got a lot of creative ideas. There's a lot of different directions you could go. Any point on the compass is going to be good for you, right? So it puts us in a little bit of a conundrum, because the problem is here with the Eight of Swords is that we don't know which direction is going to have the most progress, that's going to see the most gains, that's going to bring us the most benefit, the most bang for our buck, right? And so we start overthinking it. And I think your spirit guides are really kind of watching you tie yourself up in a knot trying to figure things out, realizing that you've got a million directions that you could choose from, and it almost is a configuration that says it doesn't matter which way you go, just go somewhere, right? As long as you're not standing still, you're making progress, right? As long as we're moving, then we're moving in some direction. Yeah. And so the Eight of Wands is kind of a blessing and a curse, right? Because this is anything you touch is going to turn to gold. Any direction you choose to take, pick a point on the map, go, do it. That sometimes gives us the same, that creates, it's an 8, right? Maybe it goes with this Eight of Swords. Maybe we have so many choices. We have so many things that you're good at, so many things that you could be doing, that you want to be doing. You have so much creative energy. How do we know which one to choose? Maybe it's we start to dabble over here. No. We start to dabble over here. No. What do we do, right? Well, the key here, the secret, what your spirit guides are trying to tell you is that you just need to pick one and commit to it. Okay? Because we have both the Emperor and we've got your superpower card, and that your superpower card is really to have a creative flow, to have a creative direction, and to, at least it is your potential to do so. Stick with it. Dedication, commitment. You make a decision and you're on that path. Now, it doesn't mean that you can't change your course or course correct, or we can't do anything like that, but for right now, your guides are telling you, stop overthinking this. Get out of your head. Just feel a direction that you like and go that way. And I think that's kind of the problem that we have, because we like a lot of different things. You're good at a lot of different things. I think you're multi-talented. I think you have, let's say you're a music person, there are so many different directions you could go with your music, so many different talents and skills. You play a lot of different instruments. You know a lot of different genres, right? How do you kind of narrow it down? Well, Spirit's saying, just almost saying flip a coin, right? Almost saying just roll the dice. Maybe not a coin, maybe the dice is better. It's kind of it's a difficult thing, because I think once you get started on a certain path a little bit, you say, oh, I'm going to start doing, country music. You start getting into it, and then you start overthinking it again. And then you kind of scrap it and you go in a different direction. And it's starting to feel pretty good, but then you start overthinking it, scrap it. And we go in a different direction. We're not really producing anything. You're dabbling here and there, you're experimenting a little bit, which is good. You're exercising your creativity, and that is a good thing. But it's also preventing progress. It's preventing you from really making any headway in any particular direction. Now, maybe it's not music. I don't know why I always think Leo is some master, musician, Maybe you are. But we need to pick one of these things that we feel drawn to. Maybe it's country music, maybe it's hip hop, I don't know. But you need to stick with it for long enough to see how it develops. Spirit's saying, get out of your head. We're overthinking this way too much. And we just need to put our efforts into something consistently, and you will see the progress. You will see the 9 of Pentacles, the visible signs of progress. You will see this thing grow. You will see yourself making improvements, getting better and better, building it up and up, producing, tracks and getting a whole album kind of put together, or whatever it might be. There is a pretty significant physical component to this. We've got this earth energy. Let's select the mystery card, bonus card, confirmation card. Before we get into some of these other cards, we got a lot of fire here today. So the mystery card is from the Waite Smith or Smith-Waite Tarot. We're going to set it down here. We're going to put Alien, Simon Mork Ripley right on top. We're not going to look at that card until the very end. It will tie everything together, right? Hopefully give us our confirmation at the end. If you have a prediction for that card, you can put it in the comments below. I think we should use our intuition. Don't overthink that either, right? And this maybe is going to be a good exercise for you. At some point, pick an arbitrary point in the reading and just ask yourself, what's the mystery card? First thing that comes out of your head, off the top of your head, out of your mouth, first thing. Put that in the comments. Don't overthink it. The video will be over and I'll reveal it and you'll miss your chance, right? And that's kind of what's going on here. And this is, I think, what Spirit's trying to tell you. We overthink something, we're going to miss our chance. That ship is going to sail while we're like, oh, which way do I go? What do I need to do? What do I like better? What am I going to be better at? What's going to have the most results, the most positive results? What's going to pay me the most, right? You have 20 jobs in front of you. Everybody wants to hire you. How do you decide? What if everything was equal? What if the pay was equal? What if everything was in a beautiful location? You liked everybody that worked at all these different places. How do you choose between all of these different options that are, in your eyes, kind of equal, right? Well, maybe the rainbow at the top gives us a clue. Maybe Spirit is saying, and with this 2 of Wands now, maybe, and the 5 of Wands, because we got a lot of fire here. Maybe Spirit is saying, you need to pick the direction that's going to be not the easiest for you. Or in other words, pick the direction that's going to be the most challenging. Because that's the only way that you will be satisfied, is to know that you rose to the top, that you are this shining, glorious sun, right? That you have this success, this well-being, this health and wealth, whatever it is, because you did the thing that wasn't easy. You go the easy routes, whatever's going to be the least challenging, and I think it's going to bore you. I think it's going to become dull, right? We got the Queen of Pentacles here. This is saying we have to look at the past. Why are you even doing anything now? Why are we in this situation? Because you got done with something else in your life, right? You're in this situation where you have to think about your next direction because the old direction is not working anymore, right? Because the old direction, either you completed that project or you just kind of lost interest, you outgrew it, whatever it might be. We have to understand what happened in the past. Now, are there patterns that you are repeating? Is there an issue here with you kind of attaching to something, but letting go before anything real happens? Now, maybe we're talking about relationships here, right? Maybe we're talking about commitment in general, to jobs, to creation, to, to art and music and to finances, to a budget, And I don't know if that's the issue, but with the Queen of Pentacles underneath everything, we've got to get to the bottom of something. And maybe thinking it through the way you have been is not the answer. Maybe we need a little bit more air energy here. See, we've got a couple of major arcana at the top here. And this is what we're aspiring to. You want to be a leader in your field. You want to excel. You want to refine yourself. You want to be the best version of yourself that you can be. But you also want to be healthy and happy and successful and satisfied and triumphant. So how do we get kind of both of these together? How do we get an emperor that feels like a full human being, right? Well-rounded, is satisfied in more ways than just, I'm a conqueror, right? See, we've got our major arcana, and then we've got fire, and we've got earth, and we've got the air that's trying to figure out, what do I want to create? We all know about that spiritual circuit of creative energy, right? That electrical circuit of manifestation. It's fire and earth. And that's what you're overthinking, is fire and earth, right? Whatever your fire is, you're going to manifest. And so in a very simple way, Spirit is saying, you have to just pick a direction and you will manifest it. Okay? But that's that's kind of part of the problem, right? Is that you want so many different things. And how do I pick something and commit to it, knowing I could have all these other things too? Or instead, right? And maybe you can. Maybe part of this message is saying that you don't have to limit yourself, but maybe you do have to commit to something in order to accomplish it, before you can kind of commit to something else and accomplish that, right? You can't be two different. You can't have really two different, full-time careers at the same time. At least I don't imagine. Maybe the commitment to one area. And see, we're talking about the Prince of Wands here. Your capacity to commit to something. Committing to the Emperor and to the Sun, okay? And maybe this means that for now you've got to stay on a certain path. You've got to work on this certain business, this certain area, develop things there, get things going, really establish a base, a foundation, and really, really kind of chisel your way into a certain degree in that maybe it's YouTube, right? Maybe you have an idea maybe you have 20 different YouTube channels that you want to do. Well, maybe you start with one, right? Make it something, right? Establish it. And then, as the Two of Wands is saying, well, maybe then you can kind of branch out. We got the two and the Eight of Wands. So maybe after that, after we establish one thing in a relatively solid way, then we can start branching out. And branching out is not going to be just chaos. It's not going to be two just wildly different things. It's all kind of within this realm of your spirit, of your interest, right? And I think that we have to start with that one and establish it. And then we kind of learn in a more, it's a more contained kind of area where we want to kind of stay. And yeah, we'll branch out. Maybe we'll try things. We'll experiment a little bit further out of our creative comfort zone, but then we can start building things up, and we can start doing a myriad things, really bring in the diversity in our creations, right? So we've got all this fire and all this earth. You're in an intensely creative period of time in your life, but we're stuck in our head about what to do or how to do it. And it might be here that we've just been planning and planning and planning and planning and planning and planning, and not acting. This is the card of action. This is saying, Leo, it's time to just get off your butt and start building this thing, right? If we want to see this progress, we've got to bridge the over the mind here, and we've got to start making progress. And it's almost as if you've taken everything apart, but instead of putting it back together, right, you're just kind of thinking about it, looking at it. Maybe you're writing out a scheme, a plan. You're writing a manual about how to put it back together. But everything's sitting in front of you in pieces. We've got to rebuild it now, right? We've got to build it up. So we kind of are going from earth to fire here in a way, right? Because I do think something has kind of ended. I think we're in this position now, whatever reason, that you're embarking on this new creative path. Or maybe you left the old job and now you're just kind of ready for what comes next. Maybe you just recently retired or something like this. I feel like there's a significant period of time has kind of ended for you. And now we're starting to embark on this new journey. And we're not quite sure what we're doing yet or how, So anyway, we got a lot of fire, a lot of earth. The Five of Pentacles here, and see, we've got a Five of Wands, Five of Pentacles. The fives are all about movement, okay? So this is telling me that, yes, you have started this path. So it's, again, it's almost like you've taken a couple steps somewhere, and now we're stuck in our head about which way to go. Do I turn around? Do I go left, right? You know, the obstacle is really all of these options. It's like you've come to a crossroads. It's not just a crossroads. It's not just a fork in the road. It's like, it's an interchange. There's like 20 different freeways that you could get on, right? And it's just, I don't know what to do. I don't know what I want to do. I don't know which path is going to bring me the most happiness, the most health and wealth, safety, security, integrity, the most satisfaction. But something's in motion, right? I think you know the general realm. You know, like kind of what universe you want to be in. But we don't know exactly what to do in that universe because the potential is so great, right? How do we begin? What is the first thing that we've got to start with? Well, I think we need to look at the past a little bit. Again, with the Queen of Pentacles, this is the energy, the card that's looking at the past, trying to figure out, looking back there, what was going on there? What kind of pattern was I in? What kind of cycle was I in? Let me think back to those times where I was really happy and satisfied in my life. What was I really doing? What kind of energy was I in, and how do I do that again? Not the same activities, but how do I get that same vibe again? You know. So eventually, this assessment of the past has to then turn and face the future. And then we have to act. Then we have to just kind of pick a point on the map and go. Right? Pick a point on the map and go. So we got the Five of Wands. Now this is the that creative energy is stirring. Again, you're in a very creative mode. This is the source, really, of all this fire. Well, the sun is the source of it all. And you're trying to get to this identification with the source of all of this. Okay? As much as you're trying to establish this and become a success in this universe that you're in, maybe it's the universe of music or the universe of, I don't even know, business, whatever it could be. You want to find the source of your creativity. You want to find, and that's part of what the Queen of Pentacles is trying to do, is find out, where does this come from? And, how can I harness this to become the best version of myself, to be the most successful, to be the most creative, the most satisfied? So we start with the Five of Wands over here. We just start doing things, right? Again, Spirit's just saying, just pick a project and work on it for a while. Work on it past the point where you feel that mental energy that says, I'm bored, I want to do something else now. Work on it until you see some sort of result. Work on it until something happens, right? Until you see some progress, until you kind of, you make your way into that place a little bit, right? Commit a little bit, at least a little bit longer than you normally would. Okay, maybe a lot longer if you can. But just start doing something. And once you do that, once you're able to remember what it feels like to harness all of this creative power, right? It's kind of like the sun. We realize the immense power of our sun, right? Our nuclear ball of fire in the sky, the source of all light and life, right? We're in awe of that. We can recognize the immense power of that. How do we utilize that, right? Well, we try to do solar panels or something, right? We try to harness that in some way with the solar panels, but it's really only a fraction, and it's a very inadequate kind of system. It's very inefficient. There's a lot of loss, right? It takes almost as much energy to capture the sunlight as it we're actually capturing. I don't know anything about solar panels or energy or anything like that, but it kind of feels like that we're trying to capture the immensity of life. And it just feels like everything we do is just not right. Maybe it's not big enough. Maybe it doesn't have that immensity for you. But we have to start somewhere. And the sooner we start and make a little bit of headway somewhere, the sooner we'll start getting a feel again for for how we can really grasp onto our solar light, our source of creativity with the spiritual sun, right? The sun within us. And then we have a little bit of this sense of agency with the Two of Wands. We have this, now I feel like I'm in control of the decisions I make and where I go and what projects I take on. I'm no longer just, it's no longer my mind overthinking and I'm just either bored or I'm worried or I'm just kind of insecure about this one, so I start doing other things. No, now it's very, very Two of Wands. It's very intentional, you know. And so there's a lot more control. And now we see the Eight of Wands in a different way. Now the Eight of Wands is all of the different things that you are doing, will be doing. And you could be, maybe you're doing 20 things at the same time. But it's coming from a different place. It's not coming from overthinking or insecurity or self-sabotage or this repeating pattern maybe of commitment stuff. No, it's coming from your agency, your intention, your authority, your dominion over your life, and you're seeing a lot of progress here. Now the difference is we operate from this Eight of Swords place and we don't really see the progress. We're dabbling in a lot of things, but we're not really doing anything. But then over here, you're dabbling in a lot of things, but you're seeing progress, right? Because it's not just dabbling. Now it's really, it's intentional, it's focused, there's a plan, there's a reason for all of it. It all fits together. It's all part of a larger picture, and that is the enlightenment. That's the clarity that we get with the solar energy too. And we end up here as this Emperor, which I think is that perfect control over ourselves. It is us becoming the best version of ourselves, and it really is through this our ability to commit, our ability to act creatively, with intention, with agency and authority. Okay. Let's look at the mystery card now. I want to see some water. I need something refreshing here. Maybe an Ace of Swords, maybe a Six of Swords, maybe an Ace of Cups, or some other water energy. All right. If you have a prediction, I want you to put it in the comments. Let's take a look. Oh, goodness. It's the Tower. More fire, right? More creative energy. But this is kind of... You hear my cat. She's in the hallway. She's listening in, eavesdropping. The studio door's open. She could come and go as she pleases, but she likes to hear the echo, I guess, of the hallway. But the Tower energy is interesting because it's kind of a, it's not a diffusion of creative energy spread out in many different places, you know, spread very thin. Right, we have all this energy, all this sun, this solar creative force, so much of it, but it's just being spread out in every direction. Every interest of ours gets a little bit, and so nothing really gets enough, right? It's like a power plant that's trying to power the entire world. Everybody just gets a little trickle of electricity. It's not enough to light a light bulb. Whereas if we kind of focus it, we narrow it down, we close the scope of things. Well, now people got light bulbs, they've got their, whatever, cameras and lights, you know. Their refrigerators are running, you know. All this stuff, it's powering the cities, the towns and villages and stuff. And I kind of wonder if the Tower is talking about that a little bit, that the amount of energy, creative energy it would take to make progress in one area is being kind of wasted as we spread it out too far. We've got to narrow down our focus a little bit. It doesn't have to be singular. It doesn't have to be one explosive tower in one direction making that progress. It can be just a more narrowing down, a little bit less broad of a focus. Okay? And the Tower, I think, is the example of that, because this is really just explosive energy in one direction. Right? And it's kind of, this is harnessing that power and really focusing it in that way. And this is a lot of progress. So I think this is good. I think this is also coming as perhaps a breakthrough for you. I think that this is your creative energy breaking through that Eight of Swords tangle, that web of wires and thoughts. But I think this is also kind of telling us the method, narrowing the focus a little bit. The energy that it would take to really push through in one direction is being dissipated, right? It's diffusing into too many places that nothing is really being changed in those places, right? So we've got to gather it back together and focus it in a little bit less broad of a channel. Yeah. Anyway, extended reading, let's do it. Click on the link up here. There's also a link down in the video description. New readings for Leo every Tuesday and Saturday, 6 a.m. Chicago time. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do. It is totally free. It does not cost anything. Leave a comment and let me know where in the world you're watching from. I want you to know that you're the most important part of Dove and Serpent Tarot. I thank you and I love you. And we're all in this together.